Welcome, beautiful souls. Today we begin a journey into one of the most fascinating and sometimes frustrating topics on the spiritual path, manifestation. Specifically, we'll uncover what I call manifestation blockers. These are the hidden barriers that keep our desires from flowing into reality. If you've ever tried to manifest something, a new relationship, healing, abundance, or clarity, you may have felt that wonderful spark of excitement only to be disappointed when the result didn't appear. Maybe you thought, I'm visualizing, I'm affirming, I'm doing all the right steps. Why isn't this working? First, let me reassure you. Manifestation is not reserved for a few lucky people. It is your birthright. The fact that you've even tried means you're already working with universal laws. But if results seem inconsistent, it's usually not because you're failing. It's because of blockers. They can be mental, emotional, energetic, or spiritual obstacles. They interfere with the flow of your intention. A quick hello to my listeners in Malmo, Sweden. Thank you for supporting my podcast. I appreciate it. Now, back to the topic. Here's the hopeful part. Once you recognize a blocker, you can release it. And when you do, manifestation becomes smoother, easier, and more natural for you. Manifestation is more than wishful thinking. It's not about just repeating affirmations and hoping something magically appears. At its heart, manifestation is about alignment. And alignment happens when your thoughts are focused on what you desire, your emotions are resonating with belief and joy, and your energy is open and flowing. When all three are working together, you become magnetic. The universe, angels, and your higher self work in harmony to bring your desires into being. But here's the challenge. Many of us are carrying old beliefs, fears, wounds, or patterns that get in the way. Even if your conscious mind says, I want this, your subconscious might whisper, it's not possible, or I don't deserve it. That mismatch becomes your blocker. It's natural to wonder if manifestation is supposed to be natural, why would these blocks exist at all? Shouldn't it be effortless? Well, blockers exist for two reasons. One, human conditioning. From childhood, we absorb messages about money, love, success, and worthiness. Some of these messages empower us, and others become invisible barriers. And the other reason is soul growth. Sometimes blockers appear as lessons. They're not here to punish you, but to guide you into deeper self awareness. Every time you clear a block, you step into greater freedom and empowerment. In other words, blockers are invitations. They point you toward what needs healing so you can expand into your full power. This is a real life story I call Olivia's abundance block. Olivia dreamed of financial freedom. She made vision boards, repeated affirmations, and even practiced gratitude, but money still slipped through her fingers. She felt defeated, wondering if manifestation simply wasn't real. In a coaching session, she uncovered the truth. Deep down, she believed money was selfish. Growing up, she'd heard relatives say rich people are greedy, and part of her carried that belief. No matter how much she consciously wanted abundance, her subconscious was pushing it away. When she shifted that inner story, reframing wealth as a tool for generosity, her energy changed. And soon new opportunities flowed in. Her manifestation hadn't failed, it had simply been blocked by that hidden belief. Here's another real life story about this topic, and it's called Kevin and Love. Kevin longed for a soulmate and he tried to manifest love, visualizing his ideal partner and affirming that he was ready. But years passed without lasting connection. Eventually, Kevin realized his true blocker, fear of vulnerability. He had been hurt before, and though he consciously wanted love, his heart was still guarded. The energy he was sending out said, I want love, but don't get too close. As he worked on healing his fear, softening his heart, and trusting again, he met someone who matched the love he desired. The universe hadn't been withholding, it had simply been waiting for him to release this blocker. So, as we continue this journey, let's explore the major types of manifestation blockers. First, mental blockers. They can be beliefs, doubts, negative self talk, and overthinking. Emotional blockers, fear, attachment, unhealed wounds, resistance to change. And then lastly, energetic or spiritual blockers, misalignment, unclear intention, divine timing, karmic lessons. Each of these creates interference, much like static on a radio station. The song is still playing, but you can't hear it clearly until the static is cleared. And it may sound strange, but blockers are gifts. They are the mirrors that show you where your healing is needed most. Without them, you might never realize what's holding you back. Think of them as signposts. If your manifestation isn't arriving, instead of thinking, it's not working, ask, what is this teaching me? What in me is ready to be released? Every time you answer that question, you take another step toward alignment. So remember, manifestation is real, natural, and always working. If your desires feel blocked, it's not because you failed, it's because there's a lesson, a belief, or a fear ready to be healed. Blockers aren't barriers to punish you, they're stepping stones to your expansion. And when you step onto them with awareness, you move closer to alignment with your dreams. Diving further in, we'll begin with the mind, exploring the mental blockers that sabotage manifestation, limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and the stories we tell ourselves. You'll learn how to notice them, challenge them, and shift them so your thoughts become allies instead of obstacles. So we uncovered the foundation of manifestation, alignment of thought, emotion, and energy. We also began exploring why blockers show up, not as punishment, but as invitations for you to heal and grow. Now we turn our attention to the first and often most stubborn type of blocker, the mind. The human mind is a powerful tool. It can create incredible visions, problem solve, and dream boldly, but left unchecked, it can also become your greatest barrier. Mental blockers like limiting beliefs, doubt, and negative self talk are like invisible walls. You may not see them, but they quietly shape what you believe is possible and therefore what you allow into your life. At the core of mental blockers are beliefs. A belief is simply a thought you've repeated enough times to accept as truth. Some beliefs empower you, like, I am capable, I am worthy, life supports me. But others disempower you, like, I never get lucky, I'm not good enough, nothing works out for me. The tricky thing is that many limiting beliefs hide in the subconscious. You may not even realize you're carrying them, yet they operate like computer programs, quietly running in the background and shaping your reality. Here's a real life story I call Florence's belief about love. Florence longed for a healthy, supportive relationship. Consciously, she said all the right affirmations. I deserve love. I welcome my soulmate. But nothing seemed to shift. And through journaling, she uncovered an old belief: love always leads to pain. She had inherited this from watching her parents' troubled marriage. As long as that belief lived in her subconscious, her manifestations of love were blocked. Once she began affirming a new belief, love can be safe, nurturing, and joyful, she noticed a shift. Within a year, Florence met someone aligned with her new truth. Beliefs are powerful. They are often the very foundation of your reality. Another mental blocker is doubt. Doubt whispers, this will never happen. You're wasting your time. Manifestation isn't real. Doubt is like planting seeds and then digging them up every day to check if they're growing. The constant interference prevents your intentions from taking root. Here's a real life story I call Amira's business dream. Amir dreamed of starting his own business. He visualized it, wrote affirmations, and was saving money. But every time he took a step forward, doubt crept in. What if I fail? What if no one believes in me? His doubt led to procrastination, which delayed his progress. And eventually, Amir learned to work with his angels, asking them to help him replace doubt with trust. He started catching his thoughts midstream, saying, "That's doubt, not truth." Slowly, he built confidence, and within 2 years, his business opened successfully. Doubt is natural, but it becomes a blocker when you let it dominate your inner dialogue. The third mental blocker is negative self talk. This is the constant inner chatter that criticizes, belittles, or second guesses you. If you're telling yourself daily, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'll never succeed," your subconscious accepts those words as commands. Manifestation cannot thrive in soil that's poisoned by constant criticism. Here's a real life story to underscore this. It's called Autumn's self talk shift. Autumn used to say things like, "I'm terrible with money, I'll never get ahead." She didn't realize how often she repeated these phrases. And once she became aware, she made a conscious choice to reframe her language. Instead of saying, "I'm terrible with money," she shifted to, "I'm learning to be wise with money. I'm improving every day." Autumn's financial situation didn't change overnight, but her mindset did. And that mindset created space for new opportunities. Here are some simple ways you can recognize your own mental blockers. Listen to your language. What do you say to yourself most often? Is it supportive or critical? Notice your automatic thoughts. When you think about your goals, do you feel excited or immediately discouraged? Journal your beliefs. Write down what you believe about money, love, health, and success. Then ask, is this empowering or limiting? Watch for patterns. If the same struggles repeat, there may be a hidden belief creating them. Awareness is the first step, and once you see a blocker, you can transform it. To release mental blockers, try these steps. Acknowledge the belief. Don't fight it, just notice it. For example, I realize I've been carrying the belief that money is hard to come by. Then challenge it. Ask, is this absolutely true? Where did I learn this? Does that serve me now? Then you replace it. You create a new empowering belief. For example, money flows to me in unexpected and expected ways. I am open to abundance. Reinforce it. Repeat your new belief daily through affirmations, journaling, or visualization, but mostly what you're thinking in your head and what you say out loud. Over time, your subconscious accepts this new belief and the old blocker dissolves. Mental blockers are some of the most powerful obstacles to manifestation, but they're also some of the easiest to shift once you see them clearly. By noticing your beliefs, challenging doubt, and transforming negative self talk, you begin to align your thoughts with your desires. Remember, your mind is not the enemy, it's a tool. And when it works in harmony with your heart and spirit, manifestation flows. Next, we're going to move beyond the mind and into the heart. We'll explore emotional blockers, fear, attachment, and old wounds, and how they can quietly disrupt manifestation until you release them with compassion. So let's turn inward to the heart because emotions are just as powerful in shaping your reality as your thoughts are. Your emotions are energetic signals constantly broadcasting your inner state to the universe. When your heart is full of joy, gratitude, and trust, you naturally attract more experiences that match those feelings. But when your emotions are dominated by fear, pain, or attachment, they create turbulence that can block manifestation from flowing in. So let's explore three of these biggest emotional blockers: fear, attachment, and unhealed wounds. Fear is one of the strongest emotional blockers. And with the world in the state it is now, many people are really mired in this emotion. Even if your mind says, I want this, if your emotions are saying, I'm scared of what will happen if I get it, manifestation is disrupted. Fear can show up as fear of failure. What if I try and it doesn't work? Fear of success. What if I succeed and can't handle it? Fear of loss. What if I get it and then it's taken away? Here's a real life story about this: Clara's fear of success. Clara wanted to manifest a thriving art career, and she visualized exhibitions and dreamed of sharing her paintings with the world. But deep down, she feared success. She worried that becoming well known would make her lose her privacy and overwhelm her. Her fear created hesitation. Opportunities showed up, but she always found reasons not to pursue them. Once she recognized the fear and began working through it, she realized she could redefine success on her own terms. Clara learned that manifestation doesn't demand sacrifice, it simply requires alignment. Attachment is another major emotional blocker. Attachment happens when you want something so badly that you cling to it, needing it to happen in a specific way or in a specific timeline. But when you grip too tightly, you create resistance. Instead of trusting the flow, you send out the energy of desperation, which communicates to the universe, I don't have this. I'm incomplete without it. And that energy delays the very thing you want. This is a real life story called Lachlan's Love Manifestation. Lachlan tried for years to manifest a soulmate. He was clear about what he wanted, but he obsessed over it daily, checking dating apps constantly, feeling discouraged when nothing happened quickly. The more he clung, the more frustrated he became. Finally, he learned to release attachment by focusing on self-love and joy in the present moment. Within months, when he was no longer desperate, Lachlan met someone naturally, someone aligned with his energy of joy. The lesson here: the more lightly you hold your desire, the more easily it flows in. Perhaps the deepest emotional blockers are unhealed wounds, pain from past experiences, whether it's betrayals, heartbreaks, losses, or traumas. They can leave imprints on the heart. Even when the conscious mind says, I'm ready for love, abundance, or healing, the emotional body may still carry fear, grief, or anger. Unhealed wounds often create protective walls. You may long for connection but keep others at a distance. You may desire abundance but carry shame about past failures. Until those wounds are acknowledged and healed, they quietly block your flow. This is a real life story called Willow's Heartbreak. Willow wanted to manifest a loving relationship after a painful breakup, but every time she got close to someone, old pain resurfaced. Deep inside, she still carried grief and mistrust from her past relationship. Her angels guided her to focus first on healing her heart. She journaled, released old emotions, and worked with forgiveness. And over time, the walls around her heart softened. Not long after, Willow met someone kind, trustworthy, and aligned with her healed energy. Her story shows us that healing wounds is not a detour, it's the very path to manifesting what you desire. Now, you may wonder, how do I let go of these emotions when they feel so strong? Here are some practices. Acknowledge your feelings. Don't suppress fear or pain. Say, I see you, I feel you, I release you. I like to visualize that as I do it. Breathe into your heart. Place your hand on your chest. Keep breathing deeply and calmly, inviting calm and compassion into your emotional body. Journal your emotions. Write down what you fear or feel attached to. Seeing it on paper helps release its hold. Talk to your angels. Ask them, please help me release the emotions blocking my desires. Lift fear, attachment, and pain from my heart. Practice surrender. Say, I trust that what is meant for me will arrive at the perfect time. Emotions are powerful forces. When filled with joy, gratitude, and love, they magnetize your desires quickly. But when dominated by fear, attachment, or wounds, they create turbulence that blocks that flow. The good news is that emotions can shift. Healing is possible, release is possible, and with each step you take to soften fear, loosen attachment, and heal wounds, you align your heart with the energy of receiving. Now we're going to talk about energetic and spiritual blockers, the subtle misalignments, resistance, and timing issues that can interfere with manifestation. You'll learn how to recognize when your energy is out of sync and how to restore flow so your desires can finally land in your life. These can be harder to notice because they don't always shout like fear or negative self-talk does. Instead, they feel like invisible resistance, like rowing upstream even when you're doing everything right. So we're going to explore those three most common energetic and spiritual blockers now. First, energetic misalignment. Manifestation requires resonance. In other words, you must vibrate at the same frequency as what you desire. If your energy doesn't match your intention, it creates a disconnect. For example, if you're trying to manifest abundance but constantly feel stressed, resentful, or exhausted, your energy is not aligned with the flow of prosperity. Abundance vibrates in joy, gratitude, and generosity, not in scarcity. This is a real life story called Catalina's Career Shift. Catalina from Argentina wanted to manifest a new career in wellness. She visualized it, but nothing was happening. During meditation, she realized her daily energy was consumed by frustration about her current job. She was trying to manifest joy from a place of resentment. When she shifted her energy by practicing gratitude daily and finding small joys, even in her old job, her vibration lifted, and within months, doors began to open. The shift wasn't just in what Catalina asked for, but in the energy she carried. Alignment is about being a match for what you desire before it arrives. Resistance happens when part of you is unconsciously pushing away what you want. Sometimes this shows up as procrastination, self-sabotage, or sudden fatigue when you move toward your goals. Resistance often comes from hidden fears, fear of change, fear of responsibility, or fear of stepping into your power. Even though your conscious mind says yes, your energy body is saying not yet. This is a real life story called Elias and Public Speaking. Elias dreamed of manifesting a career as a motivational speaker. He visualized large stages and inspiring crowds, but every time he had a chance to practice, he froze. His energy resisted. Deep down, he feared criticism. Once he acknowledged this fear and worked to release it through healing, his resistance eased. And soon Elias was able to step into the opportunities that had been waiting for him all along. Resistance doesn't mean you're failing. It means part of you needs reassurance before moving forward. Another spiritual blocker is timing. Sometimes your manifestation is fully aligned in thought, emotion, and energy, but it simply hasn't arrived because the timing isn't right. The universe often arranges people, opportunities, and circumstances behind the scenes. If your desire hasn't manifested, it may not be because you're blocked. It may be because things are still lining up. And this can be one of the hardest blockers to accept because it asks for patience and trust. And I will tell you, the biggest time for me in my life was when I was trying to figure out what my next life purpose was. And my angels kept saying, it's coming. It's not quite time yet. Oh dear. I'm sure you can relate. Here's a real life story called Samira's Home. Samira from Morocco dreamed of manifesting her dream home. She was clear on what she wanted and visualized it daily, but years passed without results. She began to doubt herself. Then one day, the perfect home came onto the market, one she hadn't even imagined could exist, and the timing aligned perfectly with her financial situation. Looking back, Samira realized her manifestation had always been working. It just needed time for all the pieces to come together. Timing is not delay, it's orchestration. Here are some practices to help you realign your energy and release spiritual resistance. Do a daily energy check. Ask yourself, what energy am I carrying today? Does it match what I want to manifest? If not, choose practices that lift your vibration: gratitude, music, dance, laughter, nature. Release resistance. When you notice procrastination or self-sabotage, don't judge it. Instead, ask, what am I afraid of? What reassurance do I need? Then invite your angels to ease that fear. Trust timing. Instead of saying, it's not happening, affirm it is unfolding perfectly. Even when I cannot see it, the universe is working for me. That is the truth. And then energy clearing. Use practices like meditation, you can smudge or sound healing to keep your energy body clear and open. Energetic and spiritual blockers might feel mysterious, but they are simply signals showing you where to realign. Misalignment invites you to raise your frequency. Resistance shows you where fear still lingers. Timing reminds you to trust the greater orchestration of the universe. When you address these with love and patience, you step back into the flow. And in that flow, manifestation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. So it's time to talk about how to release blockers, whether they're mental, emotional, energetic, or spiritual, and how to open your channel fully so your manifestations can finally take root in your life. We'll also practice affirmations and exercises to keep you in alignment every day. We've learned that manifestation is not about forcing life to bend to your will, but about clearing the pathways so that your desires can flow to you naturally. Now I'm going to bring it all together. We'll explore how to actively release your manifestation blockers so you can step into the open channel where your intentions move freely into reality. Step one is awareness. You cannot heal what you do not see. So ask yourself, what limiting thoughts am I repeating? What fears or attachments are gripping my heart? Where do I feel misaligned or resistant in my energy? Awareness is already transformation. The moment you notice a pattern, it creates space for change. Here's a real life story called Carl's Breakthrough. Carl struggled for years to manifest a new career. He tried affirmations and visualizations, but nothing moved. And through journaling, he realized his real blocker was the belief, it's too late for me. That awareness alone was life-changing. And once he replaced it with, it's never too late to follow my purpose, opportunities began to appear. Awareness opened the door. Step two is compassionate release. Release it with compassion, not judgment. Blockers are not your enemy. They're parts of you that formed to keep you safe in the past. Instead of saying, why am I like this? Try saying, thank you for protecting me, but I don't need this anymore. You can release blockers through journaling, writing down the old belief or fear, and then rewriting your new truth. Visualization, imagining handing your fears to your angels, watching them dissolve in light. It's very powerful. Energy practices like breath work, meditation, or movement to shake off resistance. Release is gentle, not forceful. It is choosing to let go rather than clinging. Step three is replacing the blocker. You have to replace it with something new, otherwise the old pattern creeps back. For example, if you release, I'm not worthy, replace it with, I am worthy of love and abundance. If you release fear of success, replace it with, I can thrive and still stay balanced and loved. If you release attachment, replace it with, I trust that what is meant for me flows easily into my life. Each new truth plants seeds of alignment. Here's a real life story called Yumi's replacement practice. Yumi from Japan used to say, nothing ever works out for me. She replaced it with, everything always works out for me, even better than I imagined. I love that. At first, it felt strange, but with repetition, her energy shifted, and within months, her circumstances began to mirror her new belief. Step 4, embodying the energy of what you desire. To keep the channel open, you must embody it. If you want love, practice radiating love to yourself and others now. If you want abundance, practice gratitude and generosity now. If you want health, treat your body with care and kindness now. Manifestation flows when you become a frequency match to your desires. Step 5, trust and surrender. Perhaps the most important step, because once you set your intention, cleared your blockers, and aligned your energy, it's time to let go. Clinging, doubting, or obsessing reintroduces resistance. Trust that the universe and your angels are working behind the scenes. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means stepping back and allowing the flow. Here's a real life story called Jonah's Trust. Jonah tried for years to manifest his dream job. And finally, after much frustration, he whispered one night, I trust you, angels. Bring me what's best in the right time. 2 weeks later, a completely unexpected opportunity appeared, better than the one he had been chasing. Jonah's surrender opened the door for something greater. To keep your manifestation channel clear, try these daily practices. Do a morning check-in. Ask, where is my mind today? Where is my heart? Where is my energy? Gratitude list. Name 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude dissolves blocks instantly. Angel invitation. Each day say, angels, please guide me in alignment with my highest good. Evening release. Before bed, let go of worries and affirm, I trust the universe to work while I rest. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small daily shifts clear big blocks over time. And so we complete this journey together. You now understand the major types of manifestation blockers: mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual. You know how they show up, how to notice them, and how to release them with love. Remember, manifestation is not about chasing or forcing. It's about becoming clear, open, and aligned so that what you desire can find its way to you. Every time you release a blocker, you return to flow. Every time you surrender, you open to miracles. So as you leave today, ask yourself, what am I ready to release? What new energy am I ready to embody? Hold these questions in your heart and trust that your angels are walking beside you, guiding you into alignment with your dreams. Thank you for joining me in the Angel Room. Tune in next Sunday when the topic will be how to feel your angel's presence. In the meantime, may your angels surround you. May your angels protect you every moment, every day of your life. I'll see you next week.